Tunisia, birthplace of the Arab Spring, well over a year after its revolution. Police round up protesters in the capital, playing judge and jury. Urban liberals in this crowd are fighting what they say are attacks on civil liberties and their right to protest, plus a failure to create jobs after the revolution. Tear gas and truncheons in use once more as new freedoms are tested on an inexperienced coalition government.
Le nouvel gouvernement, alors ils nous ont promis qu'ils vont faire. Et ben il n'y a rien qui a changé.
While balancing freedom with order, the Islamist-led government which won last year's elections is also fighting a major economic battle. Sit-ins are bringing sections of the economy to near standstill, while GDP shrank by 1.8% last year, and the country struggles to reassure international investors. Unemployment's a whopping 18%, 5% higher than before the revolution. On strike, everyone from doctors and judges to refuse collectors, filling the streets with rubbish. But to add to their financial woes, the Ennahdha party, which leads the government, is now engaged in a fight for the soul of the new Tunisia. A recent decision not to include demands for Islamic Sharia law in the constitution has drawn conflict with hardliners of the religious right.
إلا أن فيما أرى النهضة يعني قللت أو خفضت السقف كثيرا كأنها ما زالت تحت رقابة ديكتاتورية تخشى أن تتهم بالتطرف تخشى أن تتهم يعني بعناوين يعني لا يرضى عنها الغرب فلذلك استبعدوا الشريعة كأنها عملية ترضية الغرب.
And the split's coming to a head. Newly-emboldened extremists have rioted across the country in protest at alcohol sales and art galleries deemed to have insulted Islam. Police stations and a courthouse were recently attacked, and in June, the capital once more came under curfew. Hizb ut-Tahrir seek an Islamic caliphate and say Ennahdha have let down their Islamist voters.
ثم كثير من السياسيين لم يفهموا هذا التغيير الذي حدث وهو تغيير يعني هو مسار أمة كاملة. نعتبر أن الثورة التي وقعت في تونس هي مقدمة لثورة في البلاد العربية بل الإسلامية كاملة.
But head to the neglected interior and there are others who present a real problem for the government. The regional unemployed youth, those who started the struggle to topple the last government, say they're still being sidelined. Tunisia's regional inequality is threatening months, if not years of unrest. Jobless young people are rioting and attacking government buildings like this police station. They want work and ex-regime figures out of local authorities. A stone's throw from the Algerian border, the town of Redef is dominated by its phosphate industry. Soldiers keep watch over the compound. Grievances linked to the exploitation of the region's riches began years before the revolution, and they continue. Their importance to the economy can be seen everywhere. In 2008, an uprising crushed by police left at least 4 people dead. Martyrs remembered alongside those killed in the 2011 revolution. Local unionist Adnan Haji says this region is where the fight to topple President Ben Ali's government truly began.
طبعا 2008 معناها هي كانت الشرارة الأولى للثورة كانت هو الانفجار اللي أدى إلى هذه الثورة معناها أول حركة اجتماعية بالشكل ذاك بالحجم ذاك وبالتنظيم ذاك وترفع مطالب بالشكل ذاك معناها في تونس اللي امتدت على مدة 6 أشهر معناها هي كانت احنا معناها اعتقادنا ومصرين مش اعتقادنا معناها أني قناعتنا أن هذه كانت انطلاقة الثورة وهذا كان مهد الثورة كان منذ 2008.
Over 28% of people around here are now jobless, the highest in the country, fertile political ground. And while the phosphate industry too is struggling due to the turmoil after the revolution, workers say they'd be stuck without it. And now, as ever, there's a huge supply of potential staff with the state-run firm. In the town's coffee shops, the young men are in high spirits today. The company's about to announce the names of hundreds of new workers it will hire, and it seems everyone wants in. These applicants are clear on how much has changed since the revolution.
Nothing.
Karim and his friends say other jobs don't pay enough to live off, and they're worried about corruption in the recruitment process.
انا عندها 7 اخوات في الدار وفهمتوا ملاخ ما يبطلوا كل ما يخدموش فهمتوا ما يدخلش هذيك المشكله كيفاش
يدخل واحد بركي على الاقل يحل ثم شكون انا عندنا فردي في العائله في دميلويتك نقولوا نحن قامت عليها الاحتجاجات تاع 2008 فيها 3.
The previous weekend, youths in the neighbouring town burnt down a police station after being left out of the selection. And when we visit, our driver's not keen on hanging around. As the publication of the results comes closer in Redef, we follow the friends to a web cafe to see if they've been chosen. We're told that thousands applied for hundreds of jobs, and there's a buzzing atmosphere. But soon, disappointment lingers in the air. There's little trust around here, and accusations of corruption are quickly made. Eventually, the government gets the blame, whoever's in charge.
نقرا على روحي والمستقبل قدام مازال قدام اما الحاجه تغيظنا في الشباب هذا اللي يخدموا كذا والبطال معنا بصفه عامه هذاك هو اللي يغيظنا الرديف راهي من قبل احنا والفنا بالشيء هذا فهمت نفس السيستم بن علي سيستم النهضه تو بدات معنا وتلعب في اللاعب تاع بن علي.
We meet one successful candidate, this man, but he's keen not to gloat on camera, and he opts not to speak to us. Moments later, the mood is tense as a crowd gathers and an untrusted state TV reporter is forced to leave. Our camera begins to inflame the crowd, and we're accused of planning to paint the region in a bad light. It's time to move back from the action. Some say for the interior to bloom like the coastal regions do, in particular the north, Tunisia's imbalances need to be addressed. The most blatant corruption of the Ben Ali era may be over, but for Fahem Boukados, a journalist who was sentenced to 6 years in jail for covering the 2008 uprising, there's much work to be done until the new government convinces its detractors.
العملية ليست فقط عملية استغلال لبعض العائلات وإنما رؤية كاملة للمنوال التنموي يضع المشاريع الاقتصادية في المناطق الساحلية أين تسهل الحركة. أنا في شغلي كصحفي كنت زرت العديد من المدن التونسية وخاصة في الوسط وفي الجنوب وكان سؤالي دائما للشباب الموجود سواء في المقاهي أو في الساحات هل غيرت الثورة التونسية شيء من حياتكم؟ وتكون الإجابة لم يتغير شيء.
Tunisia is facing huge problems, and for those tasked with solving the economic issues, taking a broader view of events could put the country on the right path. Like many of his contemporaries, Rashid Ghannouchi spent years in exile. For the Ennahdha leader, branded one of the world's most important Islamists, good things don't come overnight. Do you think Tunisians need to have more patience?
Yes, have to have more patience because no government can pretend now that it's able to solve the problem of the high unemployment in few months. It's not fair to imagine that it's possible.
He says the democratically elected government his party dominates is determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past and is focused on the towns and villages of the interior.
Our priority now is to develop the poor region where the revolution started.
Now, an expansionist budget is pledging over $600 million US more for the interior. The wealth gap between these regions and the coast would, according to experts, have steadily worsened under the last government's 5-year plans. But Tunisians are now being promised that each region's problems will be individually considered for the first time, with the aim of delivering the nourishment that many areas desperately require. Ali Chebi is a respected economist who's advised the government in an independent manner.
Dans le projet actuel, ils ont inventé une clé de répartition, soit une première dans les choix budgétaires depuis 1959, qui prennent en compte les caractéristiques en scolarité, en taux de pauvreté et en besoin d'investissement dans la région.
Back in the cities, the question now is which groups will be satisfied with promises and piecemeal achievements like a small first-quarter jump in growth and foreign investment. Sheikh Ghannouchi says that any group rushing to violence, including Muslim hardliners, will be dealt with.
We dialogue with the side who accept the peaceful mean, refuse to using violence, but who using violence, the government stop him.
But before worrying about religion's role in society, many, for now at least, are simply concerned about opportunity.
النهضة مستهدفة معناها لكن معناها بطريقة غير مباشرة لأن الناس اللي وعدوا في الحملة الانتخابية وعملوا برنامج معناها طويل وعريض وكذا ووعدوا الناس وسوفوا الناس معناها اليوم الناس وقفت المواطنين وقفوا على حقيقة الأمر منه يطلبوا منه باش يرحل وهذا اللي وقع في وقت بن علي هو تو قاعد في إطار قاعد يوقع تو.
In REDF, the party offices have already been targeted. Youth across the country have tasted freedom and the respect that fighting for it brought them right across the Arab world. Tunisia does stand as well positioned as any country in the neighbourhood to successfully embrace democracy, but giving these young people a stake in society while making the most of their potential will be the challenge for whichever government is in place.